Looking at what is called a double angle. So we have cosine of 2 theta. How can we rewrite this using some of the identities that we've already talked about? So you cannot factor out a 2 from inside a trig function. You cannot do that. That doesn't help because then we have this, which if we don't know what theta is, doesn't help. How can we rewrite the inside?
Cosine 10 plus 10. I think you read that as 20.
Oh, that is 20, okay.
That's a theta.
Cosine of 2 plus theta. No, cosine of 2 times theta, but in brackets.
But that's what it is. Wait,
What is 2
times 2
wait,
plus cosine times theta?
wait, let's think on this. What really is 2 theta?
What really is 2 theta?
2 times theta.
It's a theta.
It is 2 times theta.
But a 2
So
theta.
theta plus theta?
Theta plus theta. There we go. So this is cosine of theta plus theta. Now using our sum identity from Friday. Yeah. 2 times x is x plus x.
Are we filling this in for the?
No, we're like, this is a side quest showing you where these come from.
Yeah, second question.
This is one that we are going to do the like derivation altogether. But you need this to be able to do an integral. All right. If theta is A and theta is B, how can we use our sum of cosine identities from that box from Friday?
The cosine of A. And then is it times sine?
So this is cosine of A times cosine of B minus sine of A times sine of B, which if A and B are both theta, this is cosine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta.
I know that's a bit.
7.3. So this is our 7.3, that cosine of A plus B is equal to cosine of A, cosine of B, minus sine of A, sine of B. So here we have one version, and there's actually 2 more versions. Could we write this in terms of just cosine or just sine?
Yes.
Okay. If we wanted to write this just in terms of sine, can we turn cosine squared into sine?
The answer is 1.
That's if it's a plus. This is a minus.
Negative.
Nope. Because otherwise this would have to be negative too. Negative as well.
Wait. I don't have my go to the dark box.
You can't call it that. It's fine.
This is not Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Shadowlands.
Fun fact, I couldn't watch Lion King because it made me cry. For like a long time, I couldn't watch it.
Every movie.
You're so real for that.
All right,
like,
how can we rewrite cosine squared in terms of sine squared? Yeah, so cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared of theta. That's our Pythagorean identity. And now we just need to simplify. 1 minus 2.
What identity is that?
Pythagorean. 1 sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. And then you rearrange it. So cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared.
Can I see?
Wait, no, it's because you took the 1.
You could also replace the sine squared with a cosine squared.
Just using the cosine squared part.
Yep.
So eliminate the cosine squared out of that, and it's sine squared equals 1, you minus 1, or you minus sine.
You could also replace the sine squared with 1 minus cosine squared, and then you get 2 cosine squared minus 1. So here are 3 different versions for cosine of 2 times an angle. You got this guy, and that guy. So those are going to go in the 3 spaces in your gray box for this page. that says cosine of 2a. So this is where they come from. It comes from the Pythagorean and sum and difference identities.
Oh, that makes sense.
So this is cosine squared of a minus sine squared of a, or 2 cosine squared of a minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared of a. You could follow a similar process that if you really want to know where it comes from, you can do that. But sine of 2a is equal to 2 sine of a times cosine of a. And then tangent of 2a is 2 times the tangent of a over 1 minus tangent squared of a. It's a weird squared. So this is the gray box you're going to need for today, in addition to all of the previous gray boxes.
I don't remember any.
Because I feel like.
This might be a sticky note one. This might be a sticky note.
That was not, I'm sorry.
Is that like the
Yes.
basic?
Yes, I'm gonna go use that too. 'Cause-
Can I just have these?
Right, small and neat. There's a reason this gives you like 2/3 of a page. Given that cosine of theta is equal to 3/5 and sine of theta is less than 0, meaning it is negative, find sine of 2 theta, cosine of 2 theta, and tangent of 2 theta. In order to find sine, cosine, and tangent of 2 theta, we need cosine of theta. What else do we need? We need sine of theta, right? So we're going to do our first little side quest is to find sine of theta. How do we find sine of theta if we have cosine of theta?
Oh, box, wait.
Find sine of theta with cosine of theta.
What identity do we have that directly relates sine and cosine? From like last week.
How you're confusing
Sine
what
squared.
there?
It's
Sine
the-
squared,
so-
okay.
Yeah, Pythagorean identity, right? Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1,
That's what I was thinking.
which means that sine squared of theta is equal to 1 minus cosine squared of theta. We know the cosine of theta is 3/5. So sine squared of theta is 1 minus 9/25, which is 16/25. And then we can square root. We've done these before. Sine of theta is negative 4/5 because we said sine needs to be negative.
Wait, we're finding sine 2 theta, can we just double that?
Nope. So sine of 2 theta is not equal to 2 times the sine of theta. It's 2 times the sine times the cosine. Right, that's the identity that we just talked about.
Oh,
Why is it negative stuff?
Because it says that our sine of theta is less than 0.
oh, because that's not theta, that's.
This is sine of theta, right? We don't even know what theta is. And we don't really care at this point either. We're just talking sine, cosine, and tangent. All right, if we want to find the sine of 2 theta, we need our identity, right? So sine of 2 theta is 2 times the sine of theta times the cosine of theta. Well, now we know sine of theta and we know cosine of theta. So this is 2 times negative 4/5 times 3/5, which is negative 24/25.
That's unfortunate. Oh, that's terrible.
Talk to me about that. I need that notebook. Do you think if I reverse it, is it gonna be that big of an ordeal? Okay.
I think this is the
I don't even think I have. I'm really scared I'm gonna run out of room, but I write fairly small, so I should be.
I think I'm already running out of room.
To give you an idea of how much room I've used of the whole page.
Yeah.
There you go.
See?
Yeah, it does.
All right, so we found sine of 2 theta. Now we need to find cosine of 2 theta. And you have 3 different options for finding cosine of 2 theta. So you can pick any one you want. I'm going to do the hard one where you have to square everything. So cosine of 2 theta is cosine squared of theta minus sine squared theta.
That's just
Not for a long time. Yeah. I didn't use a calculator past geometry. Like, my classes weren't allowed to.
Calculator, if we can't even use it. Like, I could do this in like 10 seconds.
Because the calculator can do it for you. And it doesn't teach you the algebraic manipulation and the logic skills.
Like the algebra.
Because it's, if you ever have to, so cosine squared minus sine squared, yeah.
I started questioning what I wrote down.
Oh, yeah, I need that.
Okay, so I did write that down.
What's number 2?
The sound box.
Right? So cosine squared would be 3/5 squared minus sine squared is negative 4/5 squared, which is 9/25 minus 16/25, which is negative 7/25.
Can we write example problems on this part?
Nope.
I'm just gonna like every single.
You could use any of the 3.
I started
Yeah.
doing
Not
it
fun.
and then it just.
That's a 7.
Write every single formula on it.
Watch, I'm not even gonna do it, 'cause I'll be so tired.
I just.
Then again, I have to wait like hours.
All right, and now we need to find tangent of 2 theta. What do we need to find tangent of 2 theta? We need tangent of regular theta. So side quest number 2, tangent of theta is sine over cosine, which is negative 4/5 over 3/5. Negative 4/5 times 3, 5/3 equals negative 4/3.
Getting better at this.
Because tangent of 2 theta uses tangent of regular theta.
So cosine didn't have a side quest, or did it?
No, cosine didn't have a side quest
Just like everything.
because this side quest applied to
So
both.
apply to that.
Yep. And then we do need a side quest for tangent. And then tangent of 2 theta is 2 tangent of theta over 1 minus tangent squared of theta. So now we just got to plug in our tangent of theta. So 2 times negative 4/3 over 1 minus negative 4/3 squared is negative 8/3 over 1 minus 16/9. And 1 is 9/9, which is negative 8/3 over negative 7/9, which is negative 8/3 times 9/7.
Ooh.
Ah,
You should like teach us some good study techniques. I'm not remembering any of this. That term I can memorize.
That term is hard, and I think I can memorize, I can't memorize this thing.
Vocab.
it's
I don't even
21.
have to make
Yeah,
classes.
you're right.
Just stuff.
You're just simplifying your numbers.
Yeah.
This is 21, which is negative 24/7. There we go.
Okay, cool. Yep.
It
That's
is,
what
but
I
I just start understanding.
That's that's funny.
Why is there two answers?
Like you said.
I fear there's like 4 answers.
There's 5. There's the side quest answers in the green, and then we have sine of 2 theta, cosine of 2 theta, tangent of 2 theta.
And
I
then
was
there
thinking
are
the exact
two
same thing.
answers for him.
Hold on, I gotta circle the
Because
answers.
there's an expanded version and then this.
Right.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense to me that there's 3 equations. I thought this was all the same equation.
Mm-mm.
That's why I was
So-
completely lost.
You're like, oh, you're not even in the premises.
No.
He's in a different state.
I thought you were
Yeah,
in
it's like-
here.
No.
Okay.
There you
I
go.
thought this was one equation. That's what I'm like.
Oh, the next thing is
Actually,
probably.
like super small, but still fit it all in without much issue.
Want to look at
Very
this,
nice.
It's a whole thing.
All right, example 2, we want to find the values of these 6 trigonometric functions of theta, given that cosine of 2 theta is equal to 4/5,
Alright.
and theta is between 90 and 180. So what quadrant is it in? Quadrant 2.
Alright.
All right, if we this time we know cosine of 2 theta, and we're trying to find sine, cosine, tangent, cotangent, cosecant, secant of regular theta.
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
So if we know cosine of 2 theta, can that help us find either sine or cosine of regular theta?
Yes.
cosine, is this the dark one?
Yes.
It's one of these.
Which identity do you want to use first to find something else? Okay, so that is 2 cosine squared minus 1 or 1 minus sine squared. Which one do you want to use?
One minus sine.
1 minus
Yeah,
sine
that
squared,
one.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, fine.
Whoop, I missed a 2.
Yeah.
Boop.
That's gotta be.
So if we want to find the sine of theta, and we know cosine of 2 theta is equal to 4/5, right? This is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta. Now comes the algebra 1 skills. What's next? To solve and get sine of theta.
Oh,
Subtract 1.
Yep.
So negative 1/5 is equal to negative 2 times the sine squared of theta. Then what?
Then add, no, divide by 2 because it's multiplied by the sign.
Divide by 2, so this is negative 1, or divide by negative 2, right?
Yeah.
So
so it's-
1/10 equals sine squared of theta. And then we can square root. And when you rationalize your denominator, you get root 10 over 10 is equal to sine squared of theta. Do we keep the positive or the negative version?
I
Positive because it's in quadrant 2, right?
think it's sine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 1. We just gotta do 5 more of those.
But
Uh,
it's just the first 2 that are the most work intensive.
Was that one of the first
Uh-huh.
two? Oh, that's not terrible. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Minus 1.
So now we can do to find cosine squared, right? You have 2 options. You can either do cosine squared minus sine squared, or you can do 2 cosine squared minus 1.
So minus.
The minus 1, okay. So cosine of 2 theta is equal to 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1. So 4/5 is equal to 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1.
Add 1.
Add 1. So 9/5 is equal to 2 cosine squared of theta.
That's you.
Divide by 2, so we have 9/10 is cosine squared of theta. And then we're going to square root. Do we keep the positive or the negative one if we're in quadrant 2?
Quadrant 2 cosine, so.
Right. So this is negative 3 over root 10. And when we rationalize, it's the copy droppy. Copy it up top, drop the root from the bottom. And now that you have sine and cosine, you can find tangent, cotangent, secant, cosecant, right? All right, how do you want to find the tangent of theta?
Sine over cosine.
Sine over cosine. Tangent of theta equals sine of theta over cosine of theta. Sine of theta is root 10 over 10 over cosine of theta is negative 3 root 10 over 10. Which we keep, change, flip. Oh, look, these all cancel very nicely. And we get that tangent of theta is equal to negative 1/3.
Well, I thought that was
Okay, no,
gonna be
pause,
exact.
yeah, can we slow down here?
I'm actually.
Once you know sine and cosine, we've been doing all the other stuff for like a month and a half now. Yep.
Okay.
Once you get to here, this is just algebra 2-ness.
And now you put 1 over.
And now, yeah. So if we have sine, which evil twin is that? Cosecant.
CSC.
So cosecant of theta,
Second, cotangent.
if sine of theta is 1 over the square root of 10, what is cosecant?
Wait, I like this.
Right.
1 over the square root of 10 over 10.
So this was after we rationalized. It's a little easier to flip it when it's pre-rationalized, right?
Where
Yeah.
is it?
1 over.
So it's just the square root of 10.
Oh. Wait, why is it just the square root of 10?
Because it's square root of 10 over 1, because it's this guy flipped upside down.
Wait, so you flip it before rationalizing?
Yes, when you're flipping it, it's easiest to flip the unrationalized version. You could flip this guy, in which case you'd have 10 over root 10, and then rationalize. And then you'd have 10 root 10 over 10, which is just root 10. Yeah.
That's what got me.
What do we get to secant? Remember, you can flip the unrationalized version. Yep, we can flip the unrationalized. Yep, and it's negative because cosine is negative. And then lastly, to get to cotangent, what do we need to do? We're flipping this guy upside down, which gives us negative 3.
Nice.
And there's our 6 trig functions.
I barely used it.
Yeah, I know, I was preparing, like, I.
Put your hats on for this one. So we want to simplify each expression. Cosine squared of 7x minus sine squared of 7x. What does that look like?
Pythagorean.
No, it's plus.
If it was plus, it would be equals 1. It is one of our double angle identities for cosine, right?
Yeah.
This is like the cosine of 2 times your angle.
So I put cosine of 14.
Which is just cosine of 14x.
Oh, that's from this one, right?
Please read.
Wait, is theta 7x or 9?
Theta is 7x. That's the cosine of 2a equals cosine squared minus sine squared.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So this is cosine squared of theta minus sine squared of theta, which is cosine of 2 times theta. So we're just going backwards to the short part of the identity.
I remember that. Yeah.
It's like a puzzle, right?
All right, questions about this guy? Nice little like 2-step problem.
Yep. All right, I got the next one. No.
Yeah, no, I can.
Can we burn these books at the end?
That's like,
Oh, that's a
Like,
good
I
idea.
can take you up on that, Loki, yeah.
you might like.
Okay, if we look at B, sine of 15 times cosine of 15. What does that look like?
Okay, the,
Wait, that's not.
or sine, or times like sine 2a.
Wait, no, because that's two sides.
But,
We're missing a 2 in front of it, right?
Can we just throw that in there?
How do we throw a 2 in without just throwing a 2 in?
Multiply both sides.
But there's only one side.
one,
Sammy's got it. 2 is the same. We can multiply things by 1, right? We've established that. We can multiply by 1.
Times sine plus cosine.
What version of 1 are we going to multiply by, Sammy? 1/2 times 2, right? So we're going to multiply this. I'm going to break this into 2 steps. Multiplying it by 1. Okay. So multiply. There's not 2 sides, so we can't do everything to 2 sides, but we can multiply by 1, which is equal to 2 over 2.
Oh, we're doing the whole narrating.
Mm-hmm. And then we can do what Sammy did, which is split 2 over 2 is the same as 1/2 times 2. So 2 over 2 is equal to 1/2 times 2.
Huh?
I see what you're
Dude,
doing.
this guy is so.
This is very manipulative.
Yeah,
It is.
It's sneaky.
This is the sneaky part of math.
You can
Which is-
do what-
You can do whatever you want as long as you are correctly sneaky about it. Yes. All right, and now this looks like sine of 2a, right?
Yeah.
So this is 1/2 times sine of 2 times a, which was 15,
Yes.
right? So 2 sine theta cosine theta is equal to sine of 2 theta.
Wait, so would it be 1/2 sine of 30?
1/2 times sine of 30. What is the sine of 30?
Sine of 30.
The sine of 30.
Now we're gonna get it.
What?
1/2, Devaney's got it. So 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4.
Uh-oh, I'm out. I wrote it wrong. Skip step.
Okay. I love when it simplifies. No, it's.
All right, last example for today. Write sine of 3x in terms of sine of x.
Did you times it by 1/3?
But that would do it on the outside. It wouldn't change anything about the inside though. If we think back to the very first example that we did, or like not even the first example, the little like side quest we did at the top of your paper.
Wait.
Oh, wait, can you do it to where it's like, you add like 3, or it's like you add it 3 times?
Yes, so sine of 3x,
Oh, near that.
we're only gonna split it once. So sine of 3x is equal to sine of 2x plus x, right?
Right. Oh, wait, actually, it's.
And sine.
And how can we rewrite 2 things that are being added together? If 2x is a and x is b,
Sine
Oh,
of 2x
sine
plus
of-
sine of x.
Is that the sum?
Sine of A
Plus sine of b.
sine of a
times.
cosine of b
Oh, I
Sine A
see.
cosine of B.
plus
Sine of A sine of B.
cosine of a sine of b. Yep.
I remember.
So this is our sum formula for sine. And now we need to split and deal with the 2x's. What else is equivalent to sine of 2x?
Wait.
Uh, 2 sine A times cosine A.
2 sine times cosine. And then times another cosine. And now how do we do it for cosine? Which version of cosine do you want to use? Of cosine of 2a. The sine one, 1 minus sine. Okay, so this is 1 minus 2 sine squared of x times sine of x. And now we just need to do a little combining. So this is 2 sine of x times cosine squared of x. Plus, we gotta distribute this guy. Sine of x minus 2 sine cubed of x. Are we entirely in sine of x land?
No, we still have a cosine.
We have a cosine, but it's a cosine squared. What is cosine squared of x equivalent to in terms of sine?
Fine, it is,
Yeah, so this is 2 sine of x times 1 minus sine squared of x. That's our Pythagorean identity. Plus all the rest of that guy.
can we use a U for that guy?
No, because we're going to distribute it out. And now we're going to distribute this guy.
2
sine of x minus 2 sine cubed of x plus sine of x minus 2 sine cubed of x. And now do we have some like terms that we can combine?
Yeah. Wait, 2 sine of x plus sine of x. 3 sine.
Is 3 sine of x
And then minus 4 sine. cubed.
minus 4 sine cubed of x. And that is where we're going to stop for today.